the community has such great interest in it. And it is in fact a investigation that is being investigated by the DA and the county detectives. Now, we all know that it was a gunshot wound. And we first examined the external part of the body and recorded anything on or about that body, and that's all being processed. Today's process was actually looking at the wound itself. This was a 2-day thing we're doing. And not only looking at the wound, but looking at the track of the wound, the angle of the wound. And there's 2 things that I'm charged to do. One of those is the cause of the death. The cause is the mechanical reason why this thing happened. And why the body, the mechanical reason why the body died. What was the damage to the body? So we followed the tracking of that bullet today, the angle of the bullet. We recovered the bullet so it can be examined by ballistics. This is all important data if you want to be able to say, okay, it was a gunshot wound, but what happened? It took a lot of time in both these days to do this because I think everybody, the community, the family, everybody, needs to have all the data, all the information, so that they know that everything possible was done and reconstructed. And as far as I can see, that's the case. I can't think of anything more that could be done with this case than all the forensic work that was done by both the county detectives and by our office. It's not complete, because what you have to do is you have to get the results back. You have to identify what might be evidence, then document it, which we've been doing for the last 3 days. And then from that documentation, it has to be processed and analyzed. One example is the toxicology. When we're talking about emotions, state of mind, all those sort of things, it's good to know what's in somebody's bloodstream. If somebody is on medications, are they taking them? If there's illegal drugs involved, were they taking those? So these are all parts of an important story. And I just urge everybody, because the work is painstaking, it does take some time, just like the toxicology. And all of it has been done. This office works on behalf of the body and the evidence on or about the body. And then, of course, detectives and whatnot doing interviews, investigation. They've done total station. I don't even know if you know what that is, but it's an electronic device that photographs the whole scene in a circular motion so that you know where everything is in a 360-degree view, so that you preserve at that time, which they did that evening, what everything looked like inside this house. So as all that data gets together, then what they do, including toxicology, bullet angles, all the other things, is once all the data is gathered, you do what they call reconstruction. And you reconstruct in a scientific manner and test these hypotheses, but you have to do it with data. You cannot say, well, I believe, or I think. You have to know. And that is a comparison of the data that you have with the way people describe events. So that was completed today. Now we're waiting for this processing, and then all of that is turned over to the entire investigative team, and they will compare what we have as physical evidence with other evidence, such as testimonies, witness statements, and all that sort of thing. So that's where we're at. Are there any questions?
And what can you say, though, from your observation about the bullet angle? Where did it come from? Can you?
Well, I can
You say
give
if it
you,
was distant.
I can give you the fact that we documented bullet angles and everything else, but for me to say, I think, is no good, because, again, you have to compare what we calculate as a bullet angle to the findings of the total station. You have to compare it to the witnesses' statements of where they were standing, what was happening. You can't go by rumor, you know. I think one was a sniper's bullet through the window and things like this, you know. Well, we test every hypothesis, we test every statement, but you have to test it against fact. And if you're going to test it against fact, you have to wait for the results to come in, so you can say, that's one hypothesis, let's test it against these facts.
Well, where was he struck on the body? Just the,
It was in the chest area, but that's about all I can say right now, because we'll wait until all the calculations and everything are back, and compare it to the positions of people that were in the room, and the condition of the room, or any patterns that were in